Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me are my two co-hosts.
It's your boy, Chase.
Your boy, Nick.
And we got a nice show. Going to be discussing the newest episode of WandaVision, episode 3. Also going to be reviewing a few movies for you all. Going to be reviewing Outside the Wire, the Netflix film, News to the World, Tom Hanks' Apple TV film. We're going to be reviewing also Lockdown, which is the HBO Max film. Only thing I'm missing is an Amazon Prime one. Round up the big streaming services there. We're going to also discuss our most anticipated movies of 2021. Also discuss a little bit of news also going on. How are you two doing?
Doing all right. I think I got enough sleep, judging by the movies we saw this week. So, but can't complain. Okay. How about you, Nick?
Good. School's kicking my ass, but it's going well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just me personally, just been up to school, work, that type of stuff. Trying to find this content, watch these movies. It was pretty good for Lupin. Hear like how successful that show has been on Netflix. Omar Sy posted something on Twitter. He said that apparently Lupin is the most successful French show that's ever been on Netflix. Like they had 70 million people who've seen it, who've watched it. So
damn,
that's
highly the most successful French show that's ever been on Netflix. So good for that show. Enjoyed it. It's definitely coming back. They reported it's coming back for part 2. So that's pretty nice. Good for them.
Thank God. Cause that cliffhanger at the end, man, is rough. That's a rough one.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm eager to see what they do in the second part of it. What they do. Definitely gonna get a flat cap. Definitely gonna get that.
Should we all come in with flat caps for the next one?
Yeah, cosplay. Try to do Lupin there. I'll be down. Try to get a flat cap. It's gonna be the new wave. You're gonna see everybody start wearing flat caps now because of Lupin. It's gonna be the new wave. Yeah. And what else has been happening? Pretty much just seeing the video game news, like with of course Resident Evil 8. That was like the big thing coming out with Resident Evil Village. Seeing this tall dominatrix that people are going crazy over and shit like that.
I might actually play
the giant test. You know what I mean? And so Resident Evil's kind of almost had like a little bit of a resurgence again, because before it kind of trailed off with like 6 and the 5th games being like so more action oriented, and people kind of really hating that and diverting from originally what Resident Evil was all about. So with the 7th one, with 7th Biohazard, that really brought it back to its roots. This one looks like, it's doing the continuation of that again, that gothic horror style, these kind of vampires and things like that. So that looks, and also the game looks absolutely gorgeous. So you can play the demo right now for the game if you have a PS5. This is also available if you have like Xbox One as well. I mean, what's the newest one, Xbox again?
The Xbox Series X or
Xbox
something.
Series X.
Yeah.
Series X.
Yeah, Series X is what it's called.
Yeah. So is that also, the demo's probably also available on there too, right?
I don't think so. Because from who I heard it from, it was only available on Sony right now. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I don't know what's the deal with that, or if it's even. It might even be a Sony exclusive. Now that I think about it. But
okay. So
I'm not really all that familiar with the franchise, so.
Oh, okay. So Xbox people don't even get Resident Evil no more? Damn. What y'all playing on there? Y'all got a space heater or what?
They playing Netflix.
No, they're doing like a Korean barbecue on the
Yeah. You see how crazy them joints be smoking, yeah.
So how did you guys like the trailer for Resident Evil?
I didn't see the trailer. I just saw the women, and I'm interested.
Sorry, what Chase meant to say is he watched the trailer, he paid attention to the women and nothing else.
Hey, I didn't see the trailer. I just saw the women. I'm gonna be very truthful.
Thirsty.
It's been a very long pandemic.
Did you see the trailer?
I saw a little bit of. I saw some of the gameplay. It looks absolutely gorgeous. When that game comes out, I'm definitely gonna look into getting myself a PS5, and I'm actually really thinking about starting Resident Evil 7 now, just to like familiarize myself with that character. Because the way I've heard, 7's kind of like a soft reboot with the
pretty much.
Yeah, in terms of like how the game is the first person perspective, going back to more of the horror roots, and not even reintroducing any characters from previous canon until the very end with Chris Redfield. Excuse me.
And this village, Resident Evil Village, has Ethan Winters, who's the character you played in the 7th one. So yeah, and like you said, the game does look absolutely gorgeous and stuff like that. Very much, like this nice horror style, everything like that. So I can't wait to play it myself.
And I also love the like gothic aesthetic that they're going for. They're going for like that classic Bram Stoker aesthetic, classic Mary Shelley. You could definitely see a lot of like the Universal monster influence in the design of the game.
Yeah,
I remember like a trailer a while back, they were showing werewolves. They have what may or may not be vampires in this game.
Yeah. And this is coming out in May 2021, so hopefully it sticks to that release date, because yeah, I mean that's not too far away, so it's nice, perfect timing. Very, very much appreciated. Yeah. Nick, are you still trying to play Cyberpunk or no? Did you give up?
Nah, I got my refund weeks ago.
Oh, okay, so you gave up.
Yeah,
I
gave up.
The game beat you. You didn't beat the game, huh?
I think. Have you beaten it yet? Because I haven't even. I kind of dropped it low key.
Yeah, I kind of dropped it. I just lost interest in playing it. I was playing a little bit, and I just kind of like, I just don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
You done fucked up, CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. It's just like, and one of my friends, he was streaming and he was talking about it. It's crazy how a game 10 years old, Skyrim, is somehow more compelling than this game that has been in development for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Shit, even like Grand Theft Auto 5, it's still compelling as shit, and that game's close to 10 years old.
Yeah.
It's been on like 2 consoles after its initial release.
Yeah. And
still works.
And like I get that, say they released like a apology video or something like that a while ago, or like a week ago.
Yeah.
And they were like, we were kind of just sitting on our asses in development until like maybe like 2018 or 2017 or something like that, and then they finally started getting into it, like the actual like video game development. But still, it still kind of sucks, because like some games, they're only developed for like maybe like 4 years or like 3 years, and they come out beautiful, running perfectly. So there's almost no excuse. It's kind of just like you either should have given this more time, or just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it should have just been delayed again and fixed a lot of the major issues instead of trying to patch it. But I mean,
just delay the game, work out the bugs, and do an actual release instead of like this shit show right there. I remember reading somewhere that the CD Projekt Red's in the process of being sued by their investors because of false advertising and like false claims about where the game was in its development.
I wouldn't be surprised. It all just sounds like it was just very poorly directed and very poorly managed. Like, I hope nothing befalls like the people who actually like sat there and developed it, because Like, still, there's moments where the game looks gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It's just that there's just so many bugs that it kind of just takes you out of it, especially during like the more like serious moments where like I was at a funeral scene and the person that was supposed to be giving like the eulogy or whatever was in a whole nother room, just phased out completely. So, and they were still giving their dialogue like they were still there. Like, come on, you can't be having bugs like that.
That's probably the most joy people have gotten out of it, just the bugs. I mean, that's seeing the compilations and everything like that. But yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I don't know if I'm gonna beat it. I don't know.
If
I might just move on.
If it gets a patch, I might beat it. But as it is now, I'm kind of just like.
Yeah. I mean, there's other better games I could play, like Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't beat that. I haven't beat Doom Eternal. You know, I can play Resident Evil 7. You know, there's other better games I can play.
Yeah.
At this moment, PS5. So, yeah. All right. So, get into our first topic of the day. We're going to discuss WandaVision episode 3. Here in this episode, as we saw from the previous episode, which they did a previous on, you know, in this at the beginning of this episode, it went into color, and you see Wanda is pregnant, and the opening of this one is very much like a 70s show. The way they dress, the music, kind of felt like maybe Mary Tyler Moore, I would say. Something similar to that, Brady Bunch kind of look to it a little bit. So I thought that was a very, very nice, cool aesthetic that they had. And here you start to really get into more of Wanda's powers, of, you know, more of kind of like what's going on in this place. What's the role everybody kind of serves in this place. So it adds a little bit more detail to that type of stuff. So what did you guys think coming into it and with this episode? What were your general thoughts?
It was still very zany. I mean, it kept the same exact tone still from the previous 2 episodes. It a lighthearted sitcom disguised, or no. How do I describe it best? Because it's very eerie and very surreal, but it disguised itself as a sitcom. And this time it just decided to be a 70s sitcom. About sort of just like it was a typical pregnancy episode where they're like floundering about to see how are they going to go about not raising, but just delivering the baby. Which was funny to see, because you know you don't normally get to see that from these superheroes, because they're normally taking care of business and fighting people, but to see them so vulnerable in this state is kind of funny. To see Vision freaking out, and then also having the nerve to say like, I don't have nerves, I have nerves of steel, or some stupid line like that. That was funny, but yeah, I thought it was overall pretty good, but very, very eerie at times. I like that.
Yeah. Nick?
Yeah, this show, it does an amazing job at balancing this very saccharine, very lighthearted sitcom feel, but it's always keeping that undertone of something more sinister is going on, especially towards the latter half of the episode, like when Vision starts to interact with some of the neighbors, when he has this conversation with Agnes, Catherine Hahn's character, and you can tell that they're not letting up what is going on. It feels like they're more in the know than Vision is.
And
especially this had the commercial breaks. That I feel like this one is most telling of the previous 2, because this time it's like an advertisement for a bubble bath. It's like Hydra Soak, escape your world.
Yeah,
this is reality.
Yeah, it's so when Nick brings up a good point when he mentions the neighbors, because you see, like, with Wanda being pregnant, her powers are kind of very erratic. So things are just appearing out of nowhere, like a stork just appears, and you also see like there's these weird kind of glitches that happen, like with the neighbor. Herb, like he's trimming his garden, and he's trimming things, and yet he's going all the way into the cinder block wall, and he's cutting right through it. And Vision is looking at him do it. He's like, "Hey man, I think you, I think you just kind of missed the spot there, bro." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, am I?" And then he still keeps going. So
and when that happens, and sorry to cut you off, but when that happens, it lingers on it too. Like most sitcoms. As soon as they hit the joke, they cut away, but it lingers on it long enough that something is off.
Yeah.
So it kind of adds to the thing, is Wanda is the one that's creating these people, or these real people stuck in like this Matrix type situation. And we also see, like you said, with Catherine Hahn character, and with the Herb character, like Vision goes to them and they're kind of talking to each other, and they seem very distressed, very worried, especially about Monica Rambeau. And she's the one that comes into the house of Wanda and Vision, and she discovers that Wanda's pregnant and everything like that. Very much of a sitcom kind of thing, 'cause she's trying to hide her pregnancy, this pregnancy that's just growing rapidly. Every
like 12-hour pregnancy, the show's time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It basically, has a whole arc of a whole baby coming in basically 30 minutes, jam-packed in here. And, she gives birth not only to one kid, but to two kids, twins. And she remembers that she's also a twin. And that's when Rambeau, interjects and says like, "Oh, that's right, he died from Ultron, right? Pietro, and that's when it, like, you see her kind of break back into reality a little bit. You know what I mean? Something real again. And it's funny because she kept like hammering on Rambeau about, what did you say? You know what I mean? And then she kind of expels her from this reality, It's like she doesn't want any bad things to come into this place. This place is a sanctuary. It's this perfect little, reality that she's crafted for herself. And, hearing things like that, it just kind of sets her off. You know what I mean? Hearing that reality sets her off.
And
so that.
To keep on with Rambeau, she also had the sort of sword logo on her necklace that Wanda pointed out. And was very disturbed
because by this time Wanda's been with the Avengers for a few years. She knows about SHIELD, or at least what the version that is around after the Winter Soldier. He's probably let her ramblings about another organization taking SHIELD's place. So she probably has like an idea of what sword is.
Yeah,
and
possibly.
Kind of like my theory is, right? Maybe she infiltrated this reality, because the main thing that Agnes and her were trying to conceal from Vision was like that maybe she was an outsider or something like that. Because I'm assuming that she infiltrated, because they say, oh, she doesn't have a house, she doesn't have a husband, she doesn't do this, that, and the third. She's kind of just here.
Right.
So I'm assuming that she infiltrated, and then somehow, some way, Wanda's powers, or maybe even her, if she is Agatha, I can't remember the last name, but if she is Agatha Harkness, maybe she's the one manipulating people into coming in here. I don't know. We'll see. But another thing, though, I do want to ask about like Vision in particular. Do you think Vision is, how do I say this? Maybe
dead?
Well, oh yeah, he's obviously dead, but like a figment, like, cause you know how you know how some movies they will kind of like take a character and kind of like make them sort of representing the broken down psychological, like the protagonist is like the protagonist's psyche or something like that. Like unfortunately, the only movie I could think of right now is a bad one. I'm thinking of Ending Things. Spoiler alert.
Here. Let me help you out. A good example is like Fight Club. With,
yes.
Tyler Durden being just the actual manifestation of the narrator's broken psyche.
Yes.
And so you're saying you think Vision is just there for Wanda?
Yes. And he basically is acting
I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm inclined to agree with you, but Vision is also interacting with other characters in this reality. So by that logic, I think everyone is a manifestation of Wanda's psyche. I think this is all her doing.
Because that's the reason why I think Herb was glitching like that. Because she's the one that controls everything like that, and with her being pregnant and her focusing on the pregnancy, her powers are kind of going everywhere, so she can't focus. Like when she was pregnant and she started blowing up stuff in the house and like the lights and stuff like that, all the lights in the neighborhood. When she busted the pipes, everybody's pipes busted in the neighborhood, right? And things like that. And you also see but with how she can control things. So like there's a scene where Vision is like coming to Wanda because he's very like, well, how is this happening? And you're pregnant. It's like, well, how did this happen? Because I can't even do that. You know what I mean? Like, how did this really even happen? I'm a machine. So how are you pregnant now all of a sudden? And he's talking to her and he's talking to all these strange incidences that are going on in the house. And he's like, well, maybe it's you that's doing it. And then all of a sudden it cuts and then it like reverses. And then it and then Wanda hears what she wants to hear, typically maybe in that situation of like him saying the ideal thing instead of the truth of what's actually going on. That's her that's causing this. She like does something where it kind of like this weird moment where it cuts. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was really good.
Now, do you guys have any theories as to why Vision is the one that is the most inquisitive out of all the people in there? Because I
think because like in their relationship, Vision is kind of always the one that's the one more realistic versus the realist out of the two of them. Because he's also was Jarvis at one point. He's Ultron's programming from Stark, from Banner. He is like an AI that is going to learn and grow and change, and he's gonna like try and learn about the world around him, and he's gonna know when something's wrong.
So I mean that's kind of a good explanation. Like he is that one that is honest to a fault, you know what I mean, and always it was somebody that was honest with Wanda and what needed to happen and what needed to be done. Like when he told her to kill him, to prevent the from Thanos getting the Infinity Stone. So with this episode now, I'm very wondering because they have like 6 episodes left. And there's only 30-minute episodes, and I like how they pack kind of a lot into this episode. I think more than they did in the first 2. I think the first 2 were just mainly just kind of set up, but with this one, really getting into the details and the weirdness of this and who's kind of more revealing who's behind this. Criticism, with the show now that the first 2 episodes have come out is that it's kind of boring, not interesting, or something like that. Do you guys, feel that way at all with the series?
I mean, I get
not even a little. Not even a little for me. Is I really like those kind of old school sitcoms. Like I grew up watching Brady Bunch and stuff like that on Nick at Night, and this is kind of like a very fun tribute to that. And especially when you have actors on the caliber of Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany doing the material, they're elevating the material when material's not that good.
Yeah. I mean, I get some people's gripes, especially the more, I don't want to call them dude bros, but you know, the dudes that watch superhero properties or comic book properties to see action. I get those people that have gripes with this show because it's not for them. But I do think that I'm very happy that Marvel is trying to go in this direction because it just leaves everything open for the future as to like what they can do. And if this is successful, then like just imagine like how daring the other movies could be or the other properties could be, because now they're doing TV shows and whatnot.
Yeah, this is kind of like Marvel doing their experimental phase.
Yeah,
because like even like 5 years ago, a project like this could never have gotten off the ground.
Yeah.
You couldn't do stuff like Doctor Strange. You couldn't do Multiverse of Madness. You couldn't do Shang-Chi or the Eternals.
Yeah.
Unless Marvel was where they are now.
Yeah.
So I had a question. So with Monica coming into this, environment, do you think she was aware of who she was and her mission, or do you think coming in this environment, she kind of was under this spell that was being of kind of this kind of living in this world, this reality?
Had to be under the spell because she had
I think
moments.
I think she was like briefed on, okay, here's the situation, here's this orb. We have no idea what's going on, but we know Wanda Maximoff is trapped. We need you to pull her out. And then she like entered it, and then her mind got wiped or whatever, and she had like basic instinct. So like she knows, okay, find Wanda, get her, become her friend.
Yeah,
and then when Wanda started like singing to her children in Sokovian, that like triggered it for her.
Yeah,
I was like, wait.
I mean, you could even sort of see it in Wanda's eyes when, hold on, my bad. But yeah, you could sort of even see it in Wanda's eyes. I gotta take something real quick. My bad.
Okay. Like even like one of the criticisms of the show I heard was, okay, where's Wanda's accent? Why is she just speaking like an American now? And Olsen kind of had an explanation for it, and one that I was already thinking, because she's been on the run for a couple years and she was trained basically by Black Widow on how to be a spy.
Yeah.
So she like knows how to blend in different environments, how to like lose her accent. And whenever she was talking about Pietro, you could hear little hints of the accent coming back.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And like I said, that kind of maybe triggered Monica Rambeau when she heard the singing and when she mentioned that she was a twin and her brother, and that's probably what set her off, because it didn't seem like that information was information that she wanted to volunteer, that she wanted to tell Wanda. It just seems like information she just kind of blurted out and went like, "Ooh, I shouldn't have said that." He just kind of got caught up in the moment, and that's when she just kind of expelled her and everything like that from this place. So I wonder if they're gonna continue the 70s thing, or I think they're gonna continue the 70s thing for a little bit and then go into the 80s version maybe in the next episode.
Well, I think the next episode's probably going to be their like Full House episode.
Okay, yeah.
If they're going to do like their 80s show, it's going to be like a send up a like Full House or Cheers.
Yeah, something.
I wonder what show they're going to do when in the 90s, because I'm kind of hoping they do Fresh Prince.
I think they show is going to.
I'm just imagining the WandaVision opening in the style of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That'd be hilarious. Just Wanda on the chairs and spins around. That'd be hilarious.
Because they were showing the trailer, they were showing. I think they are just gonna do like Roseanne for the '90s. I think they're just gonna try to do that one because that's what she was dressed like Roseanne.
That's whack.
Whack.
Yeah, she was doing that one.
Come on, we canceled Roseanne.
She got kicked off. She got kicked off her own show, and they just renamed it and called it The Connors. Man.
How do you think the babies are gonna grow up like very quickly?
I think something bad is gonna happen to those children. Because like even the previous episode, there was always the entire neighborhood doing that creepy chant for the children.
Oh yeah.
It's like very Shining-esque, and I think that whoever is responsible for this wants Wanda's children.
Because I do know she has children in the comics too, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I think they are actually twins, right?
Maybe.
In the comics?
I do think so.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know their names for the life of me, but if Tommy and Billy or Willie are the two, I think that's kind of funny.
I don't know. I mean, because can she just do that? Can she just manifest an entire person like that?
See, her power set is nutty. I don't know how far it extends.
I know in the comics, I mean, she can really basically do whatever she wants because she's like an omega level mutant, and she can literally just warp reality. I mean, she literally just said no more mutants, and there were no more mutants, just like that.
Yeah, I think she could definitely beat Goku.
Yeah. This show is finally getting into like Wanda's comic book power set, because that was a big criticism with her character when she was introduced. She was like, why is she here? Why are they calling her Scarlet Witch? She's just doing like telekinesis. Yeah, that's not her powers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They're finally getting there into how she is essentially the most powerful character in the MCU. She would have basically soloed Thanos if not for goddamn Rain of Fire.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I like I said, I like that they're going more into her comic book powers, more to see what how they continue that, how they kind of explain that, and what's going on. So yeah, and maybe we'll see some outside stuff now that Monica have been expelled. So we'll see the people working on the outside, trying to get back in, things like that. So we'll see maybe a little bit more, like see some of that.
Yep.
Stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully see Jimmy. Hopefully see John Krasinski's cameo in the MCU.
Yeah.
Who is he supposed to play?
He was Jimmy Woo in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Don't you guys remember?
Yeah, Randall Park. It's an Office joke if you watch The Office. Like,
I've seen The Office. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, did you watch the Asian Jim?
Yeah, Asian Jim.
Yeah, that was Randall Park.
Yeah. Okay.
And Kat Dennings, maybe she won't be as annoying as she was in Thor 2. So.
Hopefully, potentially, like down the road, introducing other heroes, because this is eventually supposed to tie into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just kind of like pitying the eventual scene of the poor sword agent that has to knock on Doctor Strange's door. Ting, ting, ting.
We need help.
And then you just hear the portal.
And then he tries to break in. Wanda, we need to talk.
All right.
Okay. So,
I just woke up. I haven't even finished my coffee. What the fuck have y'all done?
All right. So moving on from discussing episode 3 of WandaVision, we're going to discuss Outside the Wire.
Oof.
Sorry.
This week we did the dessert first. Now it's time to get to the vegetables.
Yeah.
So in this movie, you got Anthony Mackie here, Damius Idris. So it's a film about two soldiers, near future. Damison Idris plays a drone pilot who had a mission go bad, and a situation where he sacrificed the lives of soldiers in a mission where he actually sent off a bomb and actually killed soldiers along with the enemy targets as well. And so he's been sent to Anthony Mackie for a mission, a top secret mission involving stopping a nuclear attack. Very kind of generic type plot where it's like they have to go get the nuclear launch codes from the main bad guy. The whole war that they're fighting is, it at first it's like this kind of real kind of listed thing where it's like Russia, Ukraine. Then it delves into like you got this main war criminal guy they have to go, stop from getting these, nuclear codes and everything like that. So
it's this is nothing that hasn't been in an episode of Get Smart or Mission Impossible, or even like I think this movie's been described as Training Day meets the Terminator.
Yeah.
Or iRobot.
And Netflix, I mean, they'll do these type of movies, and meaning that they'll do kind of like these generic type action films. Usually they're war films, typically, where people can fire a lot of guns, a lot of bullets, a lot of explosions. And you can tell, good money went into it. The plot itself, they kind of skipped it a little bit, kind of just getting like, okay, we kind of just glossed over it a little bit. Even though there are some good, there are some good elements in here that I did like that we'll get into, that I thought was good topics that you could have delved into more. But some of the elements of this, was cool, like with the Anthony Mackie character, him being, kind of this cyborg, android type character, the way he looked. I thought his design was okay. I thought it was pretty nice.
Yeah, the design, it's actually a pretty unique design. It's kind of like a mesh. It's kind of like a holographic mesh over like his exoskeleton.
Yeah.
It's like kind of very bare bones design, which actually looks really cool when they show it. Because obviously there was not a lot of money thrown at this, but what effects they do have, practical and CG, I'm guessing, they look pretty good for the money that for this budget of a movie.
Yeah. There's definitely interesting concepts in this film. It's just the plot itself sucks ass.
Because it's very, very tropey. It doesn't really do too much with the tropes. Like you have, like he constantly refers to like Anthony Mackie, who's a captain. He constantly refers to Damus Idris, who's a lieutenant. He constantly refers to him as Rook. Always calls him Rookie Rook. That's like that's like a partner, buddy cop type of way to refer, to how someone else refer to their partner, things like that. Their whole kind of banter back and forth, very typical kind of buddy banter. You know what I mean? He's teasing him about his girl back home and all this other stuff. So.
Shit, the second he brought up his girl back home, I thought he was gonna die. I was like, shit, dude, you know what kind of movie you're in?
Yeah. And you're black? Come on now. Come on, you have the nerve to be in this kind of movie and be black and then also have a fiance? No, come on, dude.
Which, speaking of being black in this movie, they actually do bring up the very real question of why the US government chose the face of a black guy to be this super advanced robot.
Yeah.
Which the explanation they give, it actually is really interesting and kind of works.
Yeah, because it kind of reminded me of the Vietnam War. My dad used to always tell me stories that he had heard from like his uncle and like friends that had to actually go out and fight there. And a lot of the times they wouldn't even do combat with certain units out there that were Vietnamese, because they'd basically just be like same, like we're fighting against the same person, really. And
like that moment is kind of hilarious because as Anthony Mackie brings up, why don't they just make me some blonde hair, blue eyed, super ripped Chet Peckerwood, Chris Evans type. It's like a step away from saying, it's like, why didn't they make me Chris Evans?
Yeah. Why did they make me Captain America?
So I mean, so like I said, like that was, I thought, a good scene. Him mentioning that, them bringing up like, why would they do that? Why would they put all this money and make this super complex android that is black? I thought that was a good explanation. I thought the scenes between Anthony Mackie and Damus Idris, they do work. I thought they do bounce off each other well. they got good chemistry with each other. I thought, even if some of the stuff is very generic.
Yeah, it's like they have good chemistry. The actors are playing it straight. It's just the material that they have and the dialogue that they're given to say. It's just plain stupid, and it's just typical tough guy action movie dialogue.
Yeah. And it definitely, and I have to give this to them. They did their best. They definitely did their best, because they were part of the reason why I was awake throughout this movie, because their dynamic is kind of entertaining to see, but their characters themselves are terrible. The main lead doesn't learn too much, if not anything. And the problem is that they set it up very early on for him to learn something that I feel like most soldiers need to learn, you know? The value of life.
Yeah, because like his whole arc in the movie, it's because he's a drone pilot. He's not in the actual combat. He doesn't know the cost of the actual cost of human life in battle. And it doesn't feel like he learns that through this movie.
Yeah, not at all.
And I will say, for like as generic as this movie is, it gets some things. It gets gnarly as shit with some of the action scenes. Like you see, as like with a lot of action scenes in movies, you're like, okay, there aren't any civilians around, and even if they are, they're all miraculously safe. Nah. Civilians get murdered the fuck out of in this movie.
Yeah.
they get it bad.
Yeah. And I think like what it was trying to do, because like, you know, the first criticism that I feel like most people automatically have with this movie is that it is warmongering propaganda. Yes, it is. It still kind of is. But they do a decent enough job of showing collateral damage where I almost want to give them a pass. I just wish that they actually really delved into that throughout the story, because like there's just like absolutely zero remorse from the main lead, like at all. And I mean, like, granted, you could say that he might have saved more lives by doing so. But it's just a matter of he's like not even thinking about repentance, though, about the 2 lives that he did kill. And like there's moments where like without spoiling too much, this one character points out like, look, this is the aftermath of one of your jobs. And he's just like, oh, okay. He's just kind of just like stone cold, like just yeah, it really do be like that sometimes.
It seems like he's more worried about his career.
Yeah. So he just, like I said, there were 2 really interesting concepts: the collateral damage, and the cyborg.
Right.
After that, this movie just is just nothing. There's nothing interesting about this movie. It's everything you've seen before.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I think and some of the action scenes I thought were very well done. A lot of firefights in this. Like I said, you know, these Netflix, they do a lot of these type of movies, like with Extraction, like with like The Old Guard, you know, and a lot of these kind of, you know, they're films that fit perfectly for Netflix, because they're films that maybe if you saw them in a theater, you'd be less enthusiastic about it, because like, well, this is really just super generic. It is super something like made for TV that I would see, you know what I mean? But because it's on Netflix, go ahead.
I don't even know if I would say like on Netflix is where it belongs. This feels more like a $3.99 at the Walmart bin.
yeah, it is one of those.
I mean, Netflix does a lot of content, and not all of it's going to hit, and you know they need to do something. I think this is perfect to watch at home. You know, just to put something on to watch and have fun with. And I still think you can have fun with this. You know, if I was maybe saw it in theaters, or maybe if I saw it like maybe somewhere else, like like that, maybe I would be not as enthusiastic about it. But because it's on the platform it is, I think you still could have fun with it because I think the action is decent. I think the chemistry between the two leads is decent. I think that it tries to interject some good ideas in it, where you bring up, like Chase brings up, the whole thing with the collateral damage, with the thing of U.S. imperialism of like, hey, we're coming in this situation, we're the peacekeepers, we're the ones that stopping genocide. No, you're the one that's just inciting more of the violence. You're not stopping anything. You know what I mean? Like, you're not these big noble peacekeepers like you think you are. So questioning more U.S. imperialism. But the movie's not really, it just kind of quickly goes over those things. It doesn't delve into those things at all, because it's not what it is. It's just trying to be just an action film with a cool cyborg. It's like, hey, we got this good android effect, cyborg effect, let's use it. This ex machina type shit, you know what I mean? Let's use it to our effect, and let's just do this. So for me, to just give my final thoughts about it, I think it's a solid film. Like I said, very tropey, very generic, doesn't really excel in those areas when it comes to overcoming its genericness, overcoming the tropes. But I think, some of what helps it kind of raise the bar a little bit is the two performances, is the good action scenes that really work, is the kind of the film going from, all these different locations, because they really, him and Damius Idris really travel, outside the wire and go to all these kind of different locations, going around trying to get these codes, and it's kind of like this nice race against time and everything like that, which is pretty cool. Which adds, to the film itself and the pace of it. So for me, I'd give it maybe a light 6, light to strong 6 out of 10. Chase?
It's a 5. There's just nothing about this film that is really all that original or entertaining. It's just a matter of the two leads are great actors that I hope get to act together in better properties. The writing sucks. I feel like they had some decent ideas, but they just didn't know what to do with them. Or just how to incorporate them better into the story. And for that, it's just a 5, because it's not terrible. It's just very, 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 very mid.
Yeah. Okay. Nick?
See, originally I was going to give this like 5 or a 6. But then you reminded me of Extraction and the Oath Guard, which, if you compare the two, this to those movies, they're very similar. It's like both kind of like straight to video action movie plots with great actors, but the action in those two movies elevate it and make those movies something really special and really fun to watch, along with like some deceptively smart writing in both of those. Here, I will give it to Anthony Mackie and Damson Idris. Excuse me. They are trying their asses off to make this shit good. This does have interesting ideas, which I will give it credit for, but it doesn't do anything with them. The action, which, while entertaining, does cross over into that shot too close, trying to hide that your actors really can't do a lot of this. And for that, this is just a 4 out of 10 for me. Out of the Netflix action movies I've seen, this is the weakest one I can recall.
Yeah, it's definitely on the lower tier.
Okay. Well, it's trending pretty hard on Netflix. A lot of people are saying, I think at one point it was number 1. Now it's like number 4 now. It's trending pretty hard.
I think
a lot.
It's that high because Anthony Mackie's in Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to do with it.
It'll have a nice little week run and then disappear into nothing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right. So moving on from discussing Outside the Wire, going to discuss. I will do Lockdown. with starring Anne Hathaway and Chiwetel Ejiofor. Here in this film, you have the two leads here. This is also on HBO Max. And we reviewed something previously from HBO Max, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Reunion, which we were really, really high on. And with this film, yeah, I mean, this ain't really their best here. I'll say that, coming from HBO Max. But hey, they're a baby streaming service. They're just starting out. You know what I mean? They gotta find their foot in here. So in this film,
they got their little baby legs. They're still trying to learn to walk.
Yeah. So here, so this movie takes place. It has a setting of the middle of the pandemic. So you're going to be on a lot of video calls. You're going to see a lot of them, doing that. You're going to see a lot of them, in one location in the house that they're stuck in. And then Anne Hathaway and Chiwetel Ejiofor play a couple who've broken up. They still live together because of the pandemic. This is also in London. And so I was watching another review of it, and somebody brought up a good point. And I was watching Pay or Wait, and she brought up a good point. She said that it kind of feels like they're trying to do these two different movies. Because in one point they're trying to do, seems like this kind of romantic kind of comedy set in the pandemic with Chiwetel Ejiofor and Anne Hathaway, and like them kind of these hijinks, this kind of situation of this couple being broken up in the pandemic. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that kooky? That they're doing that, you know what I mean? And how they're gonna coexist together. Then it kind of transitions into kind of like this heist kind of film. And I love heist stuff. Really love heist films. Like we talked about with Lupin. Really enjoy caper kind of stuff. It takes forever to get into the heist stuff. I mean that happens like way, almost over an hour into the movie, and
Not
then
even.
that's when hype. You know what I mean?
It was
because I was watching it this morning. Here I got up early to watch it, and I had to cut it short. It's like the heist doesn't even play a factor until 30 minutes left into the movie.
Yeah. I was about to say it. Because I know when the heist happens because I fell asleep right before it.
and with this movie, it kind of reminded me a lot of another Anne Hathaway movie, Colossal, with the kaiju movie that she did, because it's selling itself as this zany romantic comedy, but there's a much darker, much more interesting film underneath that.
Yeah.
Here, not so much.
Yeah. It's just two halfway done ideas mixed together, and very much so rushed, and just too soon. I don't want to see these pandemic movies
compared to the last movie that came out set during a pandemic, remember Michael Bay produced Songbird. That actual piece of garbage, that actual right-wing QAnon propaganda, fuck you of a movie.
Yeah.
This is better than that.
Yeah. This is, unfortunately, this is probably gonna be the best pandemic movie I can see happening, because Anne Hathaway and I can't remember the dude's name. Chiwetel.
Yeah.
They have a great chemistry.
Yes, it makes me wonder, was adding a heist to this movie, was that a studio decision? Or was that just a decision so you could get some actual push for a potential theatrical release? Because with this, for me at least, the scenes where it's just the two of them arguing, those are the best parts of the movie, because you have these two great actors playing off of each other, getting into the very real feeling of being in lockdown, which was barely even over a year ago, and just getting that sense of how these people are losing their minds, and seeing this already broken relationship, just seeing the cracks of at least as far as they're telling it, the cracks of where that relationship broke. Just kind of the torturous feeling of being stuck with someone that that you don't want to be stuck with.
Yeah. That I love that, and I wish they touched upon Anne Hathaway's character being in London, but being American. Because like the first fear I had, because I didn't watch the trailer, I just saw that this is a heist movie that's set in London. I was just like, oh god, is Anne Hathaway gonna break out a British accent on me? But thankfully, no, that didn't happen. But they don't even talk about it. Just like how she is literally a single woman in London, locked down with her partner, and how isolating that could be.
Well, they do mention it a little bit, how she feels kind of trapped, and she's talking to other people, and how she like goes back to smoking, how she trying to do her job and do these Zoom calls, and then she even has to fire people over these Zoom calls in the middle of a pandemic.
Which that first scene what actually really made me laugh, because it had like a common Zoom joke of like someone's kid walking in during a meeting. That actually made me laugh, especially like towards the end of that joke, where it's like the Zoom is still on and the kid's like,
But my problem is, right, nobody calls her a bloody Yankee or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me some
racist.
Give me some of that, because I know that's how it really is.
I'm fine. Yeah, is like you're complaining that there weren't more like stereotypes of how like British people treat Americans. I like that. That's like something refreshing and different. It's like not every. Because this is directed by Doug Liman, who has kind of been hit or miss for me as a director. It's like he's directed stuff I really love, like Live, Die, Repeat or American Made, and he's also done some trash like Jumper or Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Pretty good.
I do too. It's a guilty pleasure, but yeah.
I mean, like you said, Trace, I mean, there's really not that many people in the... I mean, really, they're the two main people that you really mainly see, because it's a pandemic movie. So you really don't get to experience any other characters all that much. Like, I think the next biggest actor in this is probably like Ben Kingsley, but you just mostly see him via like a Zoom call, you know what I mean, talking to Joel, who's his boss. One element I did like, on addition on top of like the leads themselves, who I've seen Anne Hathaway be better. I've seen Chiwetel Ejiofor be better. I think with the Zoom calls themselves, how I thought those were kind of funny. The way they were handled, and how they get like the whole kind of way it kind of freezes at times, and like little kind of like bad internet connection sometimes, and you kind of hear people cut in and out. I thought that was a nice added touch to the whole thing. I thought that was like really nice. And I like how these two people, they live in the same house, and they're on they're taking a Zoom call with their like his half brother, like Chiwetel Ejiofor's half brother and his wife, and like he takes a call with them, and then they call Anne Hathaway, and they're in the same place. You know what I mean? And it's like this kind of this separation, and they're talking these mad shit about each other, and they're just literally in the same space. And his half brother is played by Dooley Hill. Well, it was good to see him. He was in the show Psych. For a long time. He's in this, and I think with his real life wife, the woman that was in it, I think it's his real life partner too.
Oh, really? Is she an actor or?
Yeah, she's an actress. She's been in quite a bit. She was in Ballers.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen that? Yeah, she was in that.
Sweet.
I think
high five, Dooley Hill.
Yeah.
She had a very funny moment that I won't spoil. That was probably the most I've laughed at this movie.
Same, because like when that moment came on, I had to like cover my mouth from like laughing too hard, because my girlfriend, she's like sleeping because it was like 6 a.m. when I was watching it. I was like,
yeah, her and Anne Hathaway's chemistry in that moment was hilarious. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
They have a very special chemistry.
Yeah, so there's little elements here, that are kind of good, but overall, I just think, yeah, it's also like a real slog to get through.
Yeah.
Because it feels longer than it is. It's only 2 hours, but it feels way longer than that. It feels kind of aimless. Because like I said, it's broken up into like, well, over an hour into this, they're discussing like the whole thing of being in this pandemic. And the stress of this, and especially like you have Troy Edge for somebody who got laid off, he got furloughed, and then you have Anna Hathaway who's still working because she's like a huge time. Did they say she's like a CEO of the company?
Yeah, she's like CEO of like the UK branch of this company that she's working for.
So she still has her job, and she still has all these, responsibilities. So she still has to she still kind of still has a purpose and like getting ready and getting dressed up and everything like that, even if it is just for an hour-long call or whatever. It's like that. And her boss is played by Ben Stiller. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it just kind of threw me off, like Ben Stiller at all. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? I was like, good to see him. I guess.
Did he produce this?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of just great, like not I guess weird to see him. I guess I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
It just kind of just popped up. I was like, oh shit, Ben Stiller.
It just seemed like one of them cameos that he might have just produced or helped produce the movie. That's why I asked.
I don't know, maybe. But when it comes to even getting into the heist itself, it's not that interesting. It's not that fun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole point of why you watch heist movies, is to watch the heist itself. How they get what they're trying to steal in the first place, really super easy as hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no real seems like issues there. So there's really not a whole lot of tension.
Like honestly, the antagonists in that moment is literally each other for how slow they're doing it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So for me, I'd give this maybe like a strong 3, light 4 out of 10. What about you all?
I'm gonna give this a 4. I wanted to give it a 5 for a second there, but it's just there's just not much else to it. Because like I saw that apparently it tried to even like it advertised itself as a heist movie, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what it was kind of doing with the trailers. Like it's like this caper, and then it's like this pandemic film, and you know what I mean. Like, yeah, so that's basically how it was kind of selling itself.
So it's not that. It's just not that at all. It's honestly just a romantic drama with a few comedic elements here and there. And it sucks because they are giving their best. They are giving some pretty solid performances. It's just that the material itself there is just not that good. And I don't want to see this be a trend of pandemic movies. I really don't. I don't need to see everybody making these Zoom call movies. I don't want it. I really don't want it.
The thing is, you could make a very interesting movie about this thing and about what people are going through and the way they feel. This one I just didn't think did it all that well, because you have this character, in Troy for who like he's going through like this whole kind of thing where he's doing poetry and like Edgar Allan Poe, and he's fascinated with that guy and all this other stuff, like and he's talking to his whole neighborhood in the middle of the street, reciting poetry and all this other stuff. And so
it's a good thing. It's a good thing that wasn't set in New York, because you would have gotten like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting something like that. Wait, here in
like
London.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
But it's like it looks like a very well-to-do neighborhood, so it might like that.
Yeah. So you can do stuff about the pandemic and about what's going on. I just think right now it just feels cheap and exploitive.
I don't see
because
it does feel a little soon. At the same time, The scenes in this that I liked, I absolutely loved. I love every argument scene with Chiwetel and Anne Hathaway. It makes me wonder what a director like, say, a Noah Baumbach could do with like a pandemic story. It makes me wonder, like maybe we get Marriage Story in the fucking pandemic or something like that.
See, that's kind of how this movie should have tried to present itself as, because
it almost makes you wonder would this have been a better movie if they just cut the heist out of it entirely.
Yeah.
And they made it more about just the drama between these two people.
Yeah.
Because the heist feels like such an afterthought. It feels like,
like, oh yeah, that happened.
Last minute. Yeah, I mean, that just feels like such a thing that just was last minute.
And full spoiler, but we don't even get to see them reap the benefits of said heist. So it's kind of just like, okay. That happened. Moving on.
And like the reason they decide to go through with the heist is because they say that I'm trying to remember why. It was like they sold this diamond to someone very bad, lives in New York, has a very bad family, and runs the country. Wink, wink.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Nick, what's your rating here for it?
I would say for me, I'd say this is like 6.5 out of 10. Again, the scenes I love in this with Anne Hathaway and Chiwetel Ejiofor playing off each other, those are fantastic. And I kind of wish we got a version of this movie with just that. The heist, again, it feels very tacked on. It feels like an afterthought. The movie, I think it's paced really slow because because like comparing this to something like Marriage Story, that movie is like 2.5 hours long and it flies by. And this, I feel like this should have had like another pass in the editing room.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6.5 out of 10. It's a very interesting watch. It's definitely not it doesn't feel as exploitative of the pandemic as something like Songbird, which again, fuck you, Michael Bay, for allowing that shit to come into existence.
Yeah. Not even allowing. He didn't direct it, did he? He produced it, right?
Produced it.
He threw money at it.
If he directed it, that shit would have had explosions. Would have had like that shit would have been wild. That would have been fun bad.
Yeah. Maybe what we need is a fun bad pandemic movie. Just, because all these movies are trying to take themselves way too seriously, and I'm just like, nah. Just not having it.
Tommy Wiseau, get on it.
Yeah, get on it, Tommy. I know you're somewhere just cooking up something. Whether that be meth or a script, who knows? But you're cooking it. I know that for a fact, Tommy. We need that movie.
Everyone betray me.
Okay. All right. So, moving on from discussing, was it Lockdown? Do it right. You could just take the girl, right? He's like, no, I can't. It's like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? He's like, well, I don't know what you want me to do, bro. I mean, I did my thing. I mean, I already did it, so I don't know what you want me to do. So that's when he just takes it upon himself to take the girl to her aunt and uncle because it's supposedly the only family she has left. And the girl is basically just kind of feral. I mean, to say the least. You know what I mean? Very much just kind of biting him and attacking him, and you know what I mean, like kind of this wild kind of person. And throughout the time, of course, it's like one of those movies. The more time they spend together, the more they bond. So it's kind of that type of story as well.
This is pretty much just almost beat for beat, like The Last of Us or Logan, or pick any number of a guy on the road with this young girl trying to get her back home.
Yeah, True Grit, something like that. It's very much stuff like that. And I think that Tom Hanks is obviously very very good in the film. I think he's always really good in most of all, if not all, the movies he's ever been in. I never really seen him a bad performance.
Even sleepwalking Tom Hanks is still better than most actors on their best day.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice relationship with the girl. We just seen it recently with this was a sci-fi film. It was the George Clooney film, Midnight Sky. Another situation where he's paired up with a young girl and everything like that. This older grizzled actor. And they encounter all these kind of different dangers.
I mean, it's the South.
Yeah,
it's the South, and it's the South, and it's after the Civil War.
Yeah,
and it's like they're just getting the news of, yep, the South is rejoining the Union, we're abolishing slavery, and you got to give them some money so they can set themselves up somewhere.
So I thought some of those adventures were pretty nice. I thought that was pretty good. Encounters one where he goes to kind of this one town, like you said, where they're very against the whole 15th Amendment, things like that. So there's some good.
There are good elements there. It had a chance to be really relevant, especially nowadays with the whole culture of fake news media, of the right wing just burying their heads in the sand, saying with everything they don't like is like, that ain't true. That's not fact. That's my opinion. That's what I believe. Keep.
Yeah, I mean,
radical
you bring
liberal news.
You bring up a good point, because there's one time when he does go to this town, and it's a town that's only hears news from this one guy, and he's like, well, I tell people the news, nobody else tells people the news. That's kind of what I do. That's my job, deliver news to these people. And he's just sitting there like, well, hey, you want to hear news from me? You can hear news from me. You can hear news from this other guy. You know what I mean? You want to hear news from me because I'm Tom Hanks. I'm good. Fuck this other guy.
Yeah, because I'm Tom Hanks. Everybody loves me.
Yeah. So I mean, what were you guys mostly feeling about the film watching it?
So I didn't see it.
Okay. Okay, Nick.
Winner. So with me, I was kind of like already not really looking forward to this. With a majority of Tom Hanks movies, I feel like he's gotten to that point as an actor where he can pretty much just coast off by his name alone. It's only when he's working on something like a couple of years ago, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, that film, which was amazing, and it had a great performance of him playing Mr. Rogers. And I don't think Paul Greengrass is that good of a director outside of his two Bourne films. And I'm trying to remember, there's one other movie he did that I really liked. Captain Phillips, another Tom Hanks film. But with here, it's like really, really slow burn, and for me, it doesn't really pick up until they go to that one town where all exclusively got their news from Fox News.
Oh, okay. So it's like what I mentioned before. Okay, so
yes,
it's that thing what I mentioned before. All right. Do you have a rating for it?
Well, like most Paul Greengrass movies, there's nothing bad here. It shot really well. Hanks is giving a good performance. His chemistry with the younger actress that he finds, the character's name's Johanna. I can't remember the actress's name off the top of my head, but they have a really good chemistry. But everything that works about it has just been done better in other films, in other TV and other media. Just like I mentioned on just a few minutes ago, like Logan or The Last of Us, it worked so much better there. And it's been 12 hours since I saw this, and I'm already struggling to remember anything from it.
So
for me, it's just a 6 out of 10. Okay. It's nothing bad, but it's nothing that's I'm inclined to ever watch again. It'll probably be your dad's, who loves westerns, who loves Tom Hanks. It'll probably be his favorite movie.
Man. So the actress's name is Helena Ziegler. So, yeah, very, very, Aryan Nation type name. But
I feel like they chose to make her like that Aryan in order to avoid criticism of, oh, it's another white savior movie, because you could tell there was a draft of this where it was a dark Native American girl.
Yeah.
Who was that savage.
Well, I mean, because the whole point of why she's savage is because of what's happened to her, and because of her being taken and constantly being, orphaned twice over, as one character says in the film. So there's a reason why she is, kind of as savage as she is. And you're right. I mean, because I was kind of thinking like, well, you kind of have this premise where it seems like you could have put a Native American girl in it. But maybe they did it to avoid the whole kind of white savior thing. But
yes, and I feel like every decision in this movie is very safe, because what isn't mentioned is Tom Hanks, his character, he fought for the Confederacy. You had an opportunity to present some real shades of gray in this movie, and instead you just did this very black and white good versus evil story.
Yeah, because a film that kind of brought up kind of that topic of characters kind of in the Civil War, and then kind of with dealing with Native Americans. It was a movie with Christian Bale. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now.
Hostels.
Hostels, yeah. Kind of similar thing, where it was all about Christian Bale had a kind of I believe, if I remember correctly, it was like he had this platoon, and he had to take like these Native Americans. They had reached an agreement. They were like, okay, we're going to take you people back to your reservation, back to your land. You've been pardoned or given clemency, something like that, and we're going to take you back to your land, and here's these people that help escort you there. And it deals with kind of these soldiers and kind of what they did, and people do feeling guilty. It's like, wow, I mean, we kind of almost committed genocide basically of these entire group of people. And as well as it's a situation where Christian Bale does have to protect these people, and it doesn't come off as white savior to me watching that film, because I think the Native American characters have a good amount of agency, but I would have to see it again. If somebody has issues with it, they can let us know in the comments, and I'd probably have to rewatch it again. I did enjoy the film when it came out. Very much so, but so something like that, I thought the way that dealt with the whole kind of experience of Native Americans of that time period of the soldiers, I thought was very well done. To give a rating for this film, like you said, I think the movie, it's shot really well, looks really nice. The performance from the girl, I think she does a very good job. I think she has good chemistry with Tom Hanks. It's mainly because it's just mainly those two. It's another situation of a kind of a man and a child, you know what I mean, whether it be a little girl, a little boy, that type of situation,
or a puppet in the Mandalorian's case.
Yeah, or a puppet.
No, Baby Yoda's real.
Lone wolf cub situation.
Yeah.
And they of course they bond over the film, so it has those kind of very, very similar kind of elements and everything like that. And I think it's good enough, it's decent enough to overcome some of the kind of genericness of it, some kind of maybe the blandness of it, I believe. I think it's still kind of it's a decent watch. Nothing that blew me away, nothing that really all that much kind of like I thought was amazing. So I give it a solid, like I said, 6 out of 10. I think we'll give it a light 6 out of 10. Yeah. All right. So moving on from discussing news of the world, going to be discussing our most anticipated films of 2021. Does anybody want to go first here?
All right. How do you want to do this? You want to just like burn through it, or should we cover like because we all got our lists in advance. Should we just cover any overlap that we got?
Let's see.
I actually made sure to not overlap. I think our lists
Oh,
are solid.
sweet. Should we do it like we did our top 5? Just go one by one, like 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah,
for each
cool.
of us.
Yeah. Let's go bottom up. Let's do that. Let's go bottom up and everything like that. So yeah, from 5 all the way up to most anticipated. Does anybody want to go first or?
Sure.
Yeah, I got you. So my number 5 for the movie I'm looking forward to for 2021 is In the Heights. It's another Lin-Manuel Miranda production. He's the guy who created, starred, and was a big influence on getting Hamilton onto Disney Plus. That's another production of his, directed by John M. Chu, who surprised me a lot with his previous movie, Crazy Rich Asians. He took like a very, on paper, a very generic romantic comedy and got something really special out of it by going into like kind of the intricacies of Asian culture. I feel like he can do a very similar thing with this. Also, the cast in this is amazing. You have Anthony Ramos, who played dual roles in Hamilton. He was John Lawrence. It's like, I'm John Lawrence in the place to be. Yep, that was his character, and he was also Philip Hamilton. Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Corey Hawkins from Straight Outta Compton. And I just listened to the music from this. It sounds amazing. And you have one of the actresses who won the Tony for her role in this, reprising it cinematically.
Okay. Chase?
So my number 5 is going to be, or my first up, because there's no real order for this.
Okay.
Raya and the Last Dragon, which is going to be directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada, who Nick actually put us on to, with Blind Spotting, a great movie. Definitely recommend it. And I can't wait to see what he does with the animated property. That'll be very interesting, especially with just like the story being an animated fantasy based upon I can't remember which culture's lore, but to see it,
it looks like a Southeast Asian. It looks like a Filipino, Thai, Indonesian mythology, which is something that doesn't get delved into a lot.
Yeah,
in like our pop culture.
Yeah, like at all, really. like in the West, America basically looks at Asian as just like India, China, and Japan. That's it, or Korea now because of K-pop. So it's interesting to now see Southeastern mythology be explored by a Disney property, no less. And I'm just excited for the fact that Disney is trying to do something original for once, and not trying to remake anything. And then also it gives Kelly Marie Tran a second shot. I mean, like, it's a vocal role, but it's a role regardless. Like, they really did her dirty. And
they did her dirty with Star Wars, with that entire. They did everybody dirty with that entire trilogy.
Yeah.
But her and Daisy Ridley the most, really.
Well, no, I'd say her and John Boyega, because like at least Ray kind of had an arc, if you want to call it an arc. Meanwhile, those two, they didn't get to do anything cool, and none of their like setups got paid off. But yeah, so I'm happy that she finally gets something where she actually potentially decent material. So
all right,
yeah.
And this is coming on Disney Plus, as well as in theaters March 5th.
Yep, and it looks like it might be Premier Disney Plus access, so you might have to pay for it. Is it going to be $30 like you tried to fucking do with Mulan? You goddamn mouse.
Why can't they just do it like Soul? They dropped Soul for free.
Yeah.
And everybody loved Soul.
Yeah.
Well, most people loved Soul.
Yeah. I'm definitely.
I feel like all the Soul controversies were just because of people that didn't watch it, but we'll leave that out.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Like he is saying, it's from the director of Blind Spotting. Really interested to see what he does with an animated film, and see kind of what he does with. You said it's from the director of Blind Spotting, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm interested to see what he does with it. See what he does animated wise. Yeah, and like I said, Disney definitely owes Kelly Marie Tran stuff they put her through in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, she's definitely on one. But it looks good. I like the infusion of the Asian culture in it. Kind of, I know a lot of people are comparing her to Katara from Avatar: Last Airbender. I know a lot of people kind of her whole look like either Katara or Korra. A lot of people are comparing them to.
I hope it's just in design, and who knows? I definitely feel like Estrada has been a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, because let's be real, most people are. So of course he's gonna take like design cues from that. Like with Black Panther, like a Killmonger's like uniform, it looks kind of like Vegeta.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's love for anime.
Yeah.
Okay, so going into my number 5 here, I have 3,000 Years of Longing. This is a film that is going to be directed by George Miller. It's going to be starring Idris Elba. It's coming out in 2021. Not much really is known about the film as of yet. Just kind of the basic kind of stuff about who's directing it and who's starring in it. It's coming out September 2021. George Miller. Really interested to see what he does coming after Mad Max, Fury Road, which is like one of the best movies of the decade. And of course, Idris Elba. I want to see him in much better projects. Sometimes Idris Elba, very talented actor, has issues sometimes. I think maybe picking scripts or maybe just what's available to him. I think he's sometimes a lot above the material he picks, like something like Pacific Rim. Even though it's good to have a nice, fun action movie or sci-fi movie or
Don't you dare badmouth Pacific Rim.
Yeah, wait.
If you're gonna badmouth any movie in Idris Elba's resume, there's so many other options. You got Star Trek Beyond. You've got
Star Trek Beyond
Hobbs and Shaw. You got fucking Cats.
Yeah, I was with you until you said Pacific Rim was a bad movie.
Yeah, I don't like Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
you're in the minority. Pacific Rim is a cinematic masterpiece.
Star Trek Beyond. I thought Star Trek Beyond was good. I just didn't like Idris. I mean, Idris Elba was kind of a generic villain, but I thought Beyond was a good movie.
I'm thinking if you're gonna mention a bad Idris Elba movie, it's gonna be The Tower, whatever that one.
Dark Tower.
Yeah, The Dark Tower. Yeah.
Yeah, that joint. That is easily one of the worst Idris Elba movies I've ever had to sit through.
I'm sorry. Cats literally said, "Hold my beer, hold my catnip."
See, I never sat through it because I knew that was gonna be trash. Is he even a major role in that movie?
Yeah, he's the main.
He's the villain in that.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, no, he needs a better agent. That just is what it is. He just needs a better agent.
Hopefully he's fired his agent that put him on Cats.
Yeah.
As every single actor who did the movie should.
Yeah. That's bad.
Yeah.
Because he's a great actor in my opinion. It's just he's just never really even like you mentioned, like he gets a ton of action movies, but he never gets any of the good action movies, and I think that's a problem.
Yeah. So I mean, the talent of them alone, like teaming up, I'm excited about. And this is like I said, September 2021. Should I do my 4th one and then Nick do his 4th one, or should I just toss it back?
Whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just go. Yeah, Nick, you can just do your 4th one. I'll just come back.
Okay. My number 4 is going to be Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi: Legend of the Ten Rings. This is from the same director as a movie I love from a couple of years ago called Short Term 12. It's a movie with Brie Larson about her as a foster care worker, and that movie fucking broke me. is one of the best movies that I will never watch again. And I'm so glad Marvel is reaching out to these indie film directors and giving them these like $200 million budget. Also, just like seeing Simu Liu, his personality online after being cast. He's a funny guy, and I just watched a couple episodes of his show Kim's Convenience. He's really funny in there, and also he released like a teaser reel of him just doing like some fight demo reel for practice for the choreography, and it's fucking good. It's like legitimately good action scenes, and just for me, I'm half Filipino, so I'm definitely in the Asian community, and it's finally an Asian motherfucking superhero with a Marvel budget.
Yeah.
Asian Black Panther, motherfuckers.
Asian Black Panther.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's about time.
Sorry, I'm so fucking hyped for that movie.
It's about time, because they should have redid. Because I know Danny Rand is white in the comics, but they should have made him Asian.
Yes! I was so excited for Iron Fist when I heard rumors that they wanted Louis Tan for the role. Because, one, the guy is a legitimate martial artist. He can actually act. If you watch the Netflix show he did, Wu Assassins, the show is kind of trash, but he's giving a really good performance in it. And the fight scene's also awesome. And it's just added insult to injury just having him play the drunken master in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
It's like, especially like after the news came out that Jeff Loeb was kind of racist against like all the Asian actors and characters on the show.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, after the fact though, I understand why he got done dirty and why Danny Rand was still white, because Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, MCU, keep all the Netflix actors.
Just
give Louis Tan a call for for Iron Fist.
Yeah, and get rid of Jeff Lowe, please. just drop him off the face of the earth. We don't need him anymore. We've evolved beyond.
I'm done. Just like Andy with Woody, I'm done playing with you.
Yeah.
So when is Shang-Chi coming out?
Shang-Chi, it's later this year. I don't have the exact date, but it was announced on Marvel's
July 9th. So it's coming out. So that's what it says, July 9th.
Oh,
fuck! Knock on wood.
Yeah, we got to put a disclaimer.
Simu Liu, he tweeted that they wrapped production on it. It's in post now, at least according to IMDb.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like we have to put a disclaimer for our most anticipated movies of this year, because unfortunately, you know, the La Ronas is still very, very, very destructive in America right now.
Rona don't quit.
Yeah, nah, she. They say the devil works hard, but the Ronas works harder.
Rona works just as hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
But prayerfully, all these movies will come out this year.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, keep a rabbit's foot close.
Yeah.
So the director of this movie, Destin Daniel Cretton, who's directing Shang-Chi, he also directed one of my favorite movies that come out in 2019, Just Mercy. Okay.
Oh, yes, another great collaboration between him and Brie Larson.
The Glass Castle. Yeah. So he's directed two Marvel movies. Directed Michael B. Jordan, directed Brie Larson. Yeah, that's very nice. He also did a Short Term 12.
A movie I brought up on here. A movie that broke me.
Yeah.
Like it. Yep. Full disclosure, it's very easy to make me cry in movies, but that shit broke me.
I have to check it out. I've heard good things about it. I have to check it out. I've heard good things about it. All right, so going into fourth one here for me, it'd be The Harder They Fall. Harder They Fall is a Western movie with an all-star cast. Here you got Jonathan Majors, who we just saw like in Lovecraft Country. We saw him in Last Black Man in San Francisco. I mean, he's really coming up. He's really blowing up in a lot of stuff. Idris Elba, of course. Zazie Beetz, Lakeith Stanfield. Regina King is also in this.
Put some more respect on her name. The nun with the motherfucking gun, Regina King.
So I mean, it's like a who's who of all this amazing kind of black talent that's in this. Delroy Lindo. Really, really great. So it's based on a Jonathan Majors playing a real life black cowboy by the name of Nate Love. So that's pretty cool. And maybe we'll get into if this is really good, we'll start to see more kind of black cowboy type movies because history says that cowboys predominantly were black because that's pretty much the only occupation they could do post-slavery because nobody would give them a job, so they had to do kind of cowboy kind of work, bounties, that type of stuff. So hopefully, if this is successful, they'll get into kind of more stuff like that. This is a 2021 release date. This is directed by a guy named James Samuel. He has a stage name called The Bulletist. He's a British singer and songwriter. He's from like London, England. And this is going to be released on Netflix in 2020, which is pretty nice.
I didn't know that was dropping. And I didn't know that was. I didn't know that fact about black cowboys, because the most that I know about black cowboys are Clint Eastwood. Just like the weird American romanticization and making them white is kind of just how I've always seen cowboys. So that's interesting.
Another goddamn. It's like the first example of whitewashing.
Yeah. Because when people think of a cowboy, they think of John Wayne, someone like that, white guy. But I mean, if you look at history, follow it and things like that, they'll tell you that most cowboys were actually black. Because it's one of the main occupations they could have did after slavery. So, very excited to see it. Very excited to see what they do. I don't think there's a trailer out for it currently at the moment.
It was a part of like that Netflix big announcement that they're releasing a movie every week in 2021, and you saw like a little clip, like a brief clip of like what looked like a shootout scene.
So I'm very excited to see this.
71 movies. Hey! I didn't get to go.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought... Oh, did I skip you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you skipped Chase.
Yeah, you did. I was going to let you have it. I was going to let you have it if you let me go.
I thought you already... Oh, my bad. Okay.
But now you're... Okay. All right, so Coming to America is my number 4.
Okay.
I mean, what more is there to really say, folks? Eddie Murphy's back. And I think he is with a director that we can trust because we saw him work with Craig Brewer and Dolomite Is My Name, which might be, in my opinion at least, Eddie Murphy's best like dramatic performance. So I'm looking forward to see what they do together in Coming to America 2. And just the cast is ridiculous. It's absurd. But yeah, that's it. It's just Coming to America 2.
So is there like a date that's coming out?
I don't even know. I think it's just 2021. It might not even.
It says here Prime on March 5th, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So I suppose.
So we'll review that soon, huh?
Yeah, it's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Nick. This is your
third one. Yep, this is my number 3, and my number 3 is Mortal Kombat. Okay. It's James Wan producing it, who has a very good track record with me directing stuff like The Conjuring, with even Aquaman, even though I'm like kind of so. I will admit that it's directed really well, and you are casting actors that can actually fucking fight. You got like Joe Taslim from The Raid. You have Hiroyuki Sanada. You have Ludi Lin. You have Louis Tan, who's I was just high on. And I will give the caveat that I need to see like a proper trailer to get a sense of the tone they're going for. But it sounds like they're going for like a goofier, sillier tone, something more akin to Deadpool, and playing it less serious, still keeping that ultra violence with some of the deaths in the movie, which is something you need to do for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I haven't looked into like what the movie even is, but just some of the screenshots, I'm just like, yeah, this is either gonna be the funniest bad movie of the year, or it's just gonna be just like a shit show. They got Steve Harvey playing Jax.
Also, okay.
Like, he really bulked up for this role, and I'm impressed. I respect it.
What do you think about the fact that
got Mehcad Brooks?
Yeah.
Oh, Mehcad Brooks, who was in one of my favorite bad movies last year, Fall from Grace.
What do you think about the whole thing with Louis Tan playing like a character that isn't from the Mortal Kombat lore? Like playing.
I don't have a problem with it, because I think with like a lot of adaptations, a lot of video game, comic book adaptations, they can kind of get caught up in, okay, we got to pull this straight from the game. Where what works in one medium doesn't always work in another.
Yeah.
Like even when Marvel adapts like big iconic comic book arcs, like with what they did with the Winter Soldier, they took elements from that, but they kind of stripped away what wouldn't work in the context of like a 2.5 hour film. And I think maybe that's like what they're doing with this.
Yeah,
because it looks like Louis Tan's gonna be like our protagonist. He's gonna be like kind of the audience avatar for how insane Outworld is.
And I feel like you need that with this kind of property to do it right, because I mean, when you play the games,
especially
like, there's no true protagonist.
It kind of just drops. It kind of drops you right dead center in the middle of the story.
Yeah, and like all the character, like, I mean, the story of Mortal Kombat is convoluted as fuck.
It's dumb. It's dumb. Let's call it what it is. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, there's like 3 different continuities or whatever, different like timelines and stuff. It doesn't make sense. So to turn this into a cohesive movie is like, I applaud you even for trying. So I hope they have fun with it, to be honest with you. I hope it does go the route you're talking about, Nick, with like a more like self-aware Deadpool kind of route, where it's just making fun of itself but still giving us dope action.
Yeah.
And with the cast you have, there's gonna be some sick ass action. And the person directing it, it's I think it's a first time director, Simon McCoy. Like, I'm looking on IMDb, he doesn't even have like any like previous stunt work, but the stunt choreographers for this are shit. There's a lot of great stunt people, and there was a lot of like rumors for a Mortal Kombat project getting off the ground. I think they pulled people from there.
Okay.
And this is going to be on HBO Max, April 16th, 2021.
HBO Max, or in theaters for all of you people that don't want to catch the Rona.
Yeah. And so it's all the major, really classic characters going to be in it. You got Sonya Blade, you got Kano, you got Raiden, you got Jax, you got Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kung Lao, Melina, Cabal, Nitra. I'm not too familiar with Nitra. I'm not too familiar with her. But
casting I'm excited is Hiroyuki Sanada. He's playing Scorpion, and Joe Taslim is Sub-Zero.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah. That's a good casting.
Yeah. And the guy playing Liu Kang, I'm a fan of his, Ludi Lin. He was in the Power Rangers reboot.
A movie that I think gets unfairly maligned because that movie is great.
Yeah, I love it. I had a good time with it. I don't care what anybody has to say about it.
And he was also in recently in Black Mirror as in the Anthony Mackie episode, the
fighter.
One of the fighters in that. As near as I can tell, he was doing his own stunts for that.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. All right. So Chase, did you do your 3?
No, I have not. And
okay, so yeah, go ahead.
So, and I'm happy that we are kind of doing our meathead picks for number 3, because my meathead pick is Godzilla versus Kong. Team Monkey, rise up. Rise up.
I'm with it, man. I'm fucking with it. Like, I'm looking forward to that too. And for one reason and one big reason only is because it's being directed by Adam Wingard.
Bubbles hears me. Bubbles is Team Monkey, right?
Yeah, Bubbles is Team Kong.
Yeah, no.
And he directed one of my favorite horror movies in You're Next.
Yeah, he's a solid director.
And he's a great director, and I'm glad he's getting this big of a project. Because with his movies, I liked a majority of them. Even his Death Note adaptation, I know it's flawed, but I still managed to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is closer to Kong Skull Island than it is the 2 Godzilla movies. Because Skull Island had the right tone. It's kind of, this is generic, but we're still having fun with this.
Yeah.
You don't get any more ridiculous than Sam Jackson giving a death stare to King Kong. It's like, fuck yes, I am with this.
Yeah. And
hopefully this, and the trailer's coming out, we're recording this on Friday. The trailer's due Sunday. And so hopefully we get more of a sense of what's coming with this movie.
Yeah.
But I'm hyped too.
And I pray, do not make the human characters relevant. I don't care.
Fuck them.
I don't care about them.
The one good human character in the fucking Godzilla movies, you killed him in King of the Monsters. It was Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
He was the only one I gave any semblance of a shit about.
Yeah, I literally just want to see 2 monsters, 2 kaijus beat the shit out of each other for 2 hours. That's all I want.
How do you not get that? It is not hard to do that. 2 monsters beat the shit out of each other. How do you not get that?
Like, I'd be even cool I'd be cool if they even had like a ref with it, like treat it like it's a boxing match or something. Like I just need to see it. Like I don't care for the human elements.
I hope we don't get a scene. No, we don't need a scene of like Godzilla standing over Kong. He's like, "You're letting him kill Mothra." Why did you say that?
Why did you say that? No. Mothra.
Please don't do that.
Oh, dude, I'd be so angry. But don't give me a story.
I would literally throw my computer if that happens during Godzilla versus Kong.
Because the last movie, I can't remember the last movie's name with Godzilla fighting like
Godzilla,
everybody.
King of the Monsters. Yeah, it was like him versus Ghidorah.
Yeah. I still have yet to watch the movie. I've just watched the fight scenes because I keep hearing from everybody that has seen the full movie just tell me like, look, just watch the fight scenes. Just look up the fight scenes on YouTube and that's all you need. And I'm just like, I bet.
Pretty much, yeah. Plot's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Which is so sad because you have such a good cast. You have you had Cynthia Erivo, you had O'Shea Jackson, you had Charles Dance, Vera Farmiga, Kyle Chandler. You had such a good cast and you wasted it.
Yeah, no, save your money. Don't get a cast. Just get the 2 monsters in a ring somewhere. Set them in, I don't know, fucking send them to New York or LA or somewhere, and just let them fight for 2 hours straight.
In the words of the great Ken Watanabe, let them fight.
Yeah, just let them fight.
And this is coming out so March 26th on HBO Max. Gonna be simultaneously in theaters. Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I hope we get a cut of with like Joe Rogan doing commentary for the fight.
Dude, that'd be sick. That's the movie that
we just get like John Anik, Joe Rogan, and Daniel Cormier just for that meme.
And put Snoop in the mix too, because after watching that whole Nate Robinson and Mike Tyson fight, I feel like Snoop could commentate. That'd be hilarious. Dude, that's the movie I need. Just make this a spectacle. That's the best way you can go about it.
Nobody gives a shit about the plot of these movies. Yeah. Just let the monsters fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see this, and I mean, to see. I don't think anyone's gonna win but I think a lot are gonna end on. I think maybe one's gonna win one match, and then another one's gonna win another match, and then they're gonna team up at the end, and then fight the bigger, greater threat.
Nah, I don't like that. That sounds like Batman vs Superman. I don't want it.
No,
just let them kill each other.
No, I think that's pretty much.
So simple. 2 monsters fighting for 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's all you. That is all you need.
Absolute facts. From what I even remember of like the original one, it was just them fighting, and that as a kid, that was so much fun to watch.
Hope they insert that. I hope they insert that Pharaoh Monch song where it's like Simon Says, where they just have like the opening to the Godzilla music.
Looking at the director's resume, I mean, like he's kind of seems like he's a little bit hit or miss. Like he did The Guest, which was really great, and he did You're Next. Then he did like Blair Witch, 2016.
I liked his take on Blair Witch. That was like the actual goods. That was the good Blair Witch movie for me,
decent.
At least.
I could definitely see him taking on this movie and making it good though.
He also did the best short in VHS. It was the one where it was like the party guys going through an actual haunted house and just them stumbling and thinking it's like an act, and they go into a real haunting.
Yeah, I've never seen VHS. Yeah, because I heard that wasn't all that good. But you say he had the best feature on that.
Yes, yeah, he had the best short in the first VHS.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll take a look at it in preparation for this. And next week, you guys want to cover the trailer when it drops Sunday?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else, really, I mean, that's probably gonna be the most hype I'm gonna be for news and trailers. So, you know.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about trailers in a while. So.
Have there been any really good trailers coming out lately?
Not really. I mean, because not really.
Well, that's why.
yeah, we haven't really. Yeah, so it's been really. I guess nothing to really talk about trailer wise. I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, we just talked about Resident Evil. I mean,
but that's a video game, and the only reason why we talked about it was for one very specific reason.
No. Okay, so for me, my third pick is Judas and the Black Messiah.
Wait, I thought you read my. Hold on, that's on your list.
Yeah.
God damn.
You know what? Actually, I can go with another one here too.
Okay.
For me, I can go with another one other than since Chase is going to cover that one for you all. I can go with another one. I can do Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. For me, so with Baz Luhrmann's Elvis, I'm interested to see what he'll do with it, if he'll make it like a conventional biopic. Especially coming from a guy who did like Moulin Rouge, he's did like The Great Gatsby. So I'm interested to see what his take and what his look would be. Like his movies are very known for being very visually very interesting. And I'm kind of interested to see what his take would be on like the musical scenes he does with Elvis, and like kind of how how he would not make it just a conventional kind of biopic. This also is going to star, Austin Butler as Elvis. Austin Butler, he was just in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He played one of Charles Manson's cronies in that movie. I think he was the guy that went into Leonardo DiCaprio's house and got his dick bitten off by the dog. I think that was him, I believe. And when you look at him, he does look a lot like Elvis. Like, he does look eerily very similar to him. It's like perfect casting. Tom Hanks is also going to be in this. He's going to be the manager of Elvis, which is very interesting. I'm looking forward to this project. It's coming out this year, and it says it's expected November 5th. So hopefully it sticks to that date. Elvis Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say visually, like, they should have a lot to play with just Elvis's life, because he was a showman to the utmost degree. And Elvis himself, you know what I mean, did rape a lot from Black culture, things like that. Obviously,
lot.
Yeah. What's a bigger word for like a lot? Like
appropriate?
He a plethora of music. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to, because apparently he did give credit where credit was due. Personally, it's just that because it's kind of like with what we were talking about with One Night in Miami, where like, even granted, most of the artists that he did cover, unfortunately, did not have the rights to their music. But Sam was also talking about just like primarily like, look, like if you have this white man covering your song, in the long term, if you own the rights to your music, you're going to be making the money, the real money. So
anytime somebody covers it, anytime someone listens to it, even if it's the cover, that's money in my pocket. Yeah.
So like, to some degree, it was kind of shady, but I do think he wore his influences on his sleeve, you know. So, but it's just because the 1950s were such a fucking racist and closeted time. It's kind of hard for him to do so. I guess, I don't know.
So Nick, your second pick?
All right, my number 2 is Nia DaCosta's Candyman. Not just because it's being produced by Jordan Peele, but it had probably the best teaser trailer I've ever seen. It's one I sent you a link, Josh. It was the one where it's like these little paper cutout animated trailers, and it's just set to the backdrop of the Candyman theme, and it's just so dark and moody, and it's bringing a lot of history of Black horror in America, and it has the potential to tell a really relevant story nowadays, especially in 2021 now. And also Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who is just blowing up ever since Aquaman. He's done that. He's been in Watchmen, Trial of Chicago 7. I'm so happy to see that guy getting work, because especially the Aaron Sorkin film in Watchmen, he's really shown as an actor. And I'm glad that it looks like this movie is following the Halloween 2018 model, where it's kind of doing more or less a soft reboot, but still following up the original.
I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, it's directed by Nia DaCosta, not Jordan Peele. It's not a Jordan Peele film. His name is just
I know everything about it as a Jordan Peele film, even down to like having a slowed down version of Say My Name in the first trailer that came out.
You can definitely tell like the influence. Or at least he may have had a hand behind that trailer. But I'm looking forward to it.
so far it says it's just going to be released theatrically. I don't see it being that's just going to be dropped on a streaming service. It's going to be released August 27th of this year. Yeah, it doesn't say it's going to be released on any streaming service. So maybe by August things will be a lot better, presumably. So maybe they're just like, okay, confident that maybe things will be a lot better. So then they just release it.
Get your shit together, America.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. Just like get all your shit, like put it in a backpack. All your shit.
Okay, Morty.
Chase.
So my number 4 may or may not come out this year. It's really up to whether or not they can finish production, which is Spider-Man 3. I don't know what this movie is. I don't know why it is the way it is, but I love Spider-Man, and the idea of him interacting with his predecessors, Toby and Andrew Garfield, I think that is such an interesting idea. Even if it does suck, it'll have some funny moments. So it's like my hesitant pick. Like I'm hesitantly anticipating this movie because I didn't want the multiverse movie to be the third Spider-Man movie. I still feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man needs his own fully established where he has no mentor. It's just him being Spider-Man movie, you know? And these past couple of movies, even though they're great in my opinion, Homecoming and Far From Home are very much shackled by Tony Stark and then also Tony Stark's legacy. So I need the one pure Spider-Man movie. But if we're gonna have a multiverse of madness Spider-Man movie, I'm cool with it too because I get to see my
because he's a character that's kind of in a unique situation among the MCU because he has been adapted before.
Yeah.
And even though none of the multiverse is confirmed or anything, I didn't like Kevin Feige's trying to play that really close to the vest. But I mean, if they do, it has a potential to be something really special, especially given everything that's going on in WandaVision. About playing around with the multiverse in reality.
And I do wonder, like, the role Toby and potentially Andrew, because I'm pretty sure Toby's been confirmed, right, to be in this movie.
I have nothing yet.
Because most sources, when I just looked it up today, most sources are like dead set, like, yo, Toby's in this movie. But I don't know.
There's reports that he's been on set or something like that and things like that. I don't know if it's official. Like Andrew Garfield, like I don't know if it's like official with him either.
I can't imagine he's busy.
Yeah.
You know. So
another thing that, like, if that is confirmed and Toby and Andrew are both in it, it'd be cool to like see them get closure for their respective series because both of them were kind of like in a situation where they were set up for another sequel, but then it got dropped.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
I would say for better. I would say for better, but for fans of both of those franchises, it'd be cool to see closure happen.
I don't know. That Spider-Man 4 movie, as a kid, I can imagine my kid self enjoying that Spider-Man 4 movie with Toby.
It did sound pretty good.
Yeah. Because they were setting up a Sinister Six. I mean, they've been trying to do a Sinister Six movie. But they're setting Spider-Man 4 up to be that. And that would have been fun. Even if it was bad, like Spider-Man 3, I still would have enjoyed it as a kid.
Well, it was like John Malkovich was going to be the Vulture.
Yeah.
And I think they also like had Bruce Campbell was going to be Kraven the Hunter, possibly. I think.
They were setting Bruce Campbell up to be Mysterio in that.
Oh, Mysterio. Okay, yeah. So that was. I would like to interested to see him finish it out with the fourth one, and they were just about to do production and get into it, and then all of a sudden they just pulled the plug on it.
Yeah,
because they had casted everybody and they were getting ready, and then all of a sudden like, no, we're not doing it anymore.
Reboot it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give it a couple years and they'll reboot this too. It'll be even younger Peter Parker with an even younger Aunt May.
When is it supposed to be coming out? Spider-Man 3?
It's supposedly coming out this year. It's supposed to be like a Christmas movie, so it's coming out in December. Supposedly, we'll see. But that's why I also like am hesitant about it too, because it's like one of them like, you know, we just gotta pray they're in a bubble when they shoot this.
Yeah. I saw some set photos. Like Zendaya, she was on set, and everything like that. Some of that stuff. So. Yeah, hopefully they can finish it this year, put it out. I wonder because if Shang-Chi's supposed to come out this year, I wonder if they're gonna finally have a release date for Black Widow. Finally have a time for that to come out, because they haven't even announced a release date for Black Widow yet. Have they? I don't believe.
Said like I think they've said April, and they're supposed to do it theatrically, but who knows? As far as like America's concerned,
they honestly should have just dropped it on Christmas to fight Wonder Woman.
Yeah, put the two women against each other.
That's what you do, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
In all media, music, movies.
Yeah, Nikki, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel. Yeah. Wonder Woman, Black Widow. That's what you gotta do. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Just pit the women against each other. All right. So my second one is The Tragedy of Macbeth. It is going to be directed by Joel Cohen. So this is going to be one of the rare occasions where the Coen brothers separate here. It's not going to be co-directed by the two of them. You have Denzel Washington, who stars in the leading role here. It's also a case where you have Frances McDormand is also going to be in it. She's a regular Coen brothers staple. It just says like it's an upcoming film in 2021. There's no solid month yet of when it's going to come out. Of course, I love to see Coen brothers films. Love to see their work. Pretty much enjoyed everything they've ever done. Denzel Washington, I would love to see him under a great director like Coen. And yeah, you Brendan Gleeson is in this. Corey Hawkins from NWA, he played Dr. Dre. He's in this, so nice cast, talented director. I'm interested to see what they do. Classics, William Shakespeare type story. See what they do to put their own type of spin onto it. All right, Nick.
Let's see. My number one for 2021 is gonna be James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. One, because I'm just a massive fan of James Gunn as a director, and I really love his take on Guardians of the Galaxy. And I feel like this is a superhero property that kind of matches James Gunn's like comedic and horror sensibilities, because just from like looking at the posters, at the little sizzle reel that came out during DC Fandom, it feels like he really understands the tone and the personality of the Suicide Squad comics. He understands that it's meant to be a revolving door of characters. You're supposed to kill some of these people. I mean, obviously, some people are going to be safe. Like Harley is obviously going to be fine. Peacemaker, John Cena's character, he's probably going to be fine because of the HBO Max spinoff. But it feels like everybody is fair game here, which thank God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, they could. I mean, that's what we thought about Black Widow coming into Endgame. It's like, oh, she's gonna be coming out, right? I mean, she's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit. So it could be a prequel.
All right, true. And you're playing around with like kind of like the D list of the DCU. We know Batman, we know Superman, we know like their A-list villains. You got to get the people that kind of suck at this in the DC universe. The guys that are bad enough that they got caught.
Yeah. To see all of these characters adapted is gonna be hilarious.
and opening the door for appearances from other characters. Like I remember an interview with Gunn, he was talking about he wanted to use characters like Atmite or Kite Man, but it was like too soon for this movie, and I hope he gets to come back to this depending on like how successful it is.
Yeah, we definitely got to see his Kite Man. I need that.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking forward to that
especially since Kite Man is killing it in the Harley Quinn animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really blown up. I can't wait to see what they do with King Shark in this.
Oh yeah. And this is coming out August 6th, 2021. And this is going to be dropped on HBO Max. Yeah. Yeah, so it's the same thing, released theatrically and streaming HBO Max. So HBO Max got some good content coming. They got some good, hits coming to the thing. Okay. Chase, your number one?
Judas and the Black Messiah. So I'm very much so looking forward to this movie. And I think it's dropping next month, right?
Judas, I believe I thought it was coming out in March, I thought.
Really?
Could be wrong.
For some reason,
February 12th.
Okay, yeah. Now I was about to say it's Black History Month. This better come out next month. Because where do I even begin, dude? Because like, I don't think have we ever gotten a positive on-screen depiction of the Black Panther Party?
I think
Black Dynamite.
I mean, documentaries. I mean, we've had documentaries about that.
So I just can't wait for this, and just to see, and then also
that Spike Lee movie with John David Washington that came out recently.
Black Klansman, yeah.
Black Klansman. Yeah.
Oh, true. But still, I'm excited to see it. This is the first time I'll be watching this director's work, but I trust the leads in this movie because they normally don't pick bad. Actually, I take that back because Lakeith did have a couple stinkers here and there, but he still acted great in them. But Daniel Kaluuya, I don't think he's missed yet. So, and it just looks like it's Oscar potential. So I'm looking forward to it greatly, and I hope it's great. But it's just one of the movies that not only does it look like it's gonna be great, but it's also gonna be a good like family movie too, for my parents and I. So looking forward to it.
All right.
And it's actually a movie that I want to see with my, because that's a big problem with watching movies with the folks. A lot of times they get you watching Medea or something like that.
All right, so for me, my number one film is Dune. Denis Villeneuve. It's going to be premiering on HBO Max. It's released on October 1st. Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya. Hopefully, they kind of put this movie out this year, and it's coming out later in the year. Denis Villeneuve was pissed about his movie, possibly being dropped on a streaming service, actively kind of fighting Warner Brothers about it. Which, I mean, he thinks that this is going to be a huge, major blockbuster. I don't really see it. I don't really think it is. Maybe later in the year when things cool down, maybe more people go to the theaters. I just don't think this is the type of movie that would really, get people really, a lot of butts and seats. It's just such kind of a niche kind of sci-fi property that has a specific fan base.
It's not just a niche sci-fi property. It's kind of a sci-fi property where a lot of the elements that were iconic from it have been stolen and taken and adapted into other material.
I think you're sleeping on Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is, and Zendaya stands. I think they're gonna push this movie.
I don't think it's gonna be like how much do you think it's gonna make in the box office? Like this comes out October 1st. So do you think the pandemic will be fully done by then? And like how much do you think it's gonna make at the box office?
So I don't think it's gonna make an extreme amount of money, but I think that it releasing on HBO Max will at least get a lot more. It'll get a lot more eyes on it than it did, than it might have even would have in theaters. I feel like, because believe it or not, I mean, granted, it is just Twitter and Tumblr, but those two, they be pulling numbers just for having their face on screen. So I can imagine all the stands eating this up.
Okay, so the budget on this movie is 165 million, right? So how much do you think it's gonna make?
I think it'll at least, I don't even know, because it's not even fair to really give it, because I think on a pandemic-free environment, this movie would at least double its budget, at least, within first week or so, or a couple weeks or so, but because of the pandemic, you know, I can't give you a good accurate number of how much money I think they're gonna make. I think they're gonna get a lot of eyes on it, is what I'm trying to say. Whether those eyes see it on HBO Max for what is it now, like $10 or $15, or
15.
Okay.
15, yeah.
Well, I mean, I may allegedly not pay for it, but but you just got to have good friends.
Right.
But I think it'll get a lot of eyes on it, a lot more eyes than you are giving it credit for, is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it being on a streaming service, I think does it a lot better than it being released theatrically. Like I said, I think that would more people would see it. In order for this movie to be successful, it has to do more than its budget, at least double, triple its budget. So double its budget, it'd be 330 million. I don't think it's gonna make 330 million. I'm gonna say 250. So I'm gonna say 250 to 280 million, or like 300.
We'll
Shit, pandemic wise, I think it'd be lucky if.
Did you freeze there, Nick? Oh, he just froze right there.
He froze at a very funny frame.
You froze it, Nick. What did you say?
I think because of the pandemic, I think it'll be very lucky if this movie breaks even 100 million.
Oh, yeah, and it didn't,
especially given how the box office, at least for Blade Runner 2049, at least just going by that as a reference point, I don't think this movie is gonna get much success box office wise. HBO Max wise, yeah, I think this is gonna be huge for them.
Yeah, I think you guys are sleeping on their stands, but because Timothy Chalamet, you weren't here when I said this, but Timothy Shampoo, or whatever you say, however you say his name, and Zendaya, they have their stands that will watch and eat up everything that they're in. So I wouldn't be surprised if this did decent.
Yeah,
that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's going to be like, you know, the blockbuster of the year. I'm just saying I think it's going to make its money.
So what's decent? What would be decent?
I think it's just going to make its money back, at least. And I don't know. I can't say it's going to double it first couple of weekends because of the pandemic, but I think under normal circumstances they would be just fine. They'd probably double it, and I think word of mouth could push it because of the two leads in it, because the internet is hot on them right now, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, if anything, this movie is gonna live or die by the word of mouth.
Yeah.
By a word of mouth that's coming from the streaming market.
Yeah. But,
so like Nick said, go ahead.
I was just gonna reiterate, like, I can definitely see the internet eating this joint up, is what I'm trying to say. Like the Twitter kids, they love these two actors that are leading it. So just don't be surprised if the numbers are a lot higher than you expected.
So it's like Nick mentioned, a frame of reference for like Blade Runner. So the budget on Blade Runner 2049 It was somewhere between 150 million to 185 million, and it earned 259 million at the box office. Right? So yeah, it's considered a flop. So yeah. This is from a Forbes article here. It says box office Dune must avoid the mistakes that doomed Blade Runner 2049. So I mean, it's not that I want.
Yeah, but also 2449. I will give the caveats. It did come out during a packed summer. It was like Marvel put out 2 movies within like the span of 2 months of each other.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was also out when 2049 did, so that obviously hurt its business a lot.
And when is Dune coming out?
October 1st.
I don't think there's anything really slated for then. So
people could rearrange dates.
Yeah.
And people, they could do all that. So you never know. They could, like Fast and Furious, they could just go like, oh, let's just drop it in October. Let's just do that.
Well,
you know what I mean.
I think this is set up for success. I'm not gonna hold you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I mean, aside from the pandemic, if there was no pandemic, if we magically got all the vaccines distributed, this movie would be just fine.
Well, let's see. Fast and Furious 10. So right now, Fast and Furious 10 is supposed to come out 2022. So if they keep that release date, then so they're good. But any movie could just all of a sudden maybe decide like, okay, well, the pandemic is still going strong. Maybe let's push it back a couple of more months to October. Near October. So it could affect Dune. But we'll see. Listen, I don't want this movie to fail. It looks good. I like Denis Villeneuve.
Yes. Even as much criticism as I'm saying, I am not wanting this movie to fail. I love Denis Villeneuve. I love all of the actors that are in this, even the people we haven't mentioned, like Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, fucking Oscar Isaac. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he was even in this, and Twitter loves him. Nah, dude, I'm telling you, those stands are gonna eat this up.
Twitter's not real life though.
Oh, dude,
it's not real life. That's not butts and seats. Just because they tweet about it a lot, they don't mean they're going to pay to see the movie 10, 15, 12 times. In order for a movie to be like, you got to see people see it like multiple times. So they're going to be willing to see this multiple times. And this is also, how long is this movie too? What's the runtime?
It's got to be at least 2 hours.
Denis Villeneuve doesn't make short movies.
Yeah.
It's like everything he's done is north of 2 hours. Because I think my favorite of his before 2049 was Sicario. And I think that was at least 2 hours.
Yeah. And with Dune, you have so much to explain. So
you have a lot of material packed into one movie. And I even think they mentioned that it's supposed to be a 2-parter. And it's supposed to be like chapter 1, which...
Yeah,
I can see that.
Hasn't really worked for Hollywood in the past, but I'll give Denis Villeneuve a shot.
I could see that. Yeah. I could see that because they're so dense. The books are dense.
It worked with
it. Yeah, it was like I think there was like this big list of books and graphic novels that were considered unfilmable.
Yeah.
And for a long time, Dune was on that list. Stuff like John Carter of Mars was on there. Stuff like Watchmen.
No. I could see them trying to do a TV show with Dune though, because of how dense it is. I wish more of those properties would be adapted into TV shows. Like
it's like
Watchmen did it perfectly.
You got a good version of Watchmen, the TV show, and you got a bad version of Watchmen. Well, mediocre to bad version.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's terrible. It's there. It's alright.
Yeah. Like maybe some materials just would be better served as a TV show. It works better, like you said, with Watchmen. Dark Tower. I think I heard they were trying to maybe do a TV show with Dark Tower. Which
I don't want to. Yeah,
they were. Yeah, shit. They've been trying to adapt the Dark Tower.
Yeah, I don't need to see it.
Because at first they were trying to do it where it was going to be something where they were going to do like a couple of seasons on a TV show. They were going to do a couple of seasons of a TV show. Then they were going to do like a movie and then go back to the TV show. Like they were trying to do something like that.
They can keep that.
Huge. thing. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see them put it on maybe like Dark Tower if they do it like maybe on HBO Max or Prime or something like that.
And HBO Max, they're not that averse to doing like really out there sci-fi, because I remember the show they did a while back, Raised by Wolves, that was produced by Ridley Scott. It had a lot of similar aesthetics to what I'm seeing from the trailer for Dune.
Okay. Yeah, I heard. Didn't you tell me the show wasn't that good? Didn't you tell me that?
I wasn't a fan of it, but it does have its stands.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because it's like it's Damon Lindelof who does that, right?
No, that was Ridley Scott.
Oh, Ridley Scott who did that, and then it's more him pontificating about life and the meaning of life, and more like some Prometheus shit.
The good sci-fi show on HBO Max. What's it called? Westworld.
Oh, Westworld.
Yeah.
I binge Westworld. It's solid. There's some. It's solid. It's some good stuff.
I just want to give the people another example of sci-fi on HBO.
Does Doom Patrol count as sci-fi?
I mean,
it does now. Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
So Doom Patrol. People watch Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Just watch Doom Patrol in general, because that's a fucking amazing show.
Yeah, watch Doom Patrol. I gotta watch the second season. I have to finish that second season. Everything like that. Nick, you can catch Nick on HBO Max. He's on Teen Titans. You can catch Nick. All right. So let's get out of here, people. Long show, nice meaty show here. Hey, of course, people, you can find us on all the social medias: Twitter, The Afternoon Tune; Facebook, The Afternoon Tune; Instagram, The Afternoon Tune. We are now on TikTok at TikTok, The Afternoon Tune. We're doing all that TikTok shit with the TikTok lights, TikTok dances.
You're gonna be doing the Renegade.
No, that's old. I don't think nobody does that anymore. Bro.
Damn, I old?
Catch Josh dancing to WAP on TikTok.
Yeah, that's old too. I don't think anybody does that. I think the new thing now is the busted thing. That's the new thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Catch Josh doing the busted challenge.
Yeah, doing that. Yeah. So of course that. Of course, we're on we're everywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, of course, YouTube. Of course, we're getting up there. Trying 72 subscribers. Trying to make it to 80. Maybe by the end of February. Trying to make it to. I think that's a good goal to set. Maybe make it to 80. By the end of February, that'd be pretty nice. So of course, if you want to send us an email, you can always email us at theafternoon@gmail.com. Leave some good comments there, good constructive criticism. That's always helpful. Chase, where do you want people to find you?
You can find me at Mr. Chase Mac at Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. That's spelled MrChaysemac, all one word. Where can they find you, Nick?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Night and Day Nick. And I promised my friend I got to give her a quick shout out. Shout out to Miranda Fear the Maverick. She's a professional mixed martial arts fighter. She's making her second UFC appearance February 13th on ESPN Plus on the undercard of Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. Give her a shout. Give her a follow at Fear the Maverick _HOMT.
She about to kick some ass.
Yeah, I turned you guys onto her, and she had like one of her best fights in her career.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, that was a good fight. Well, I mean, for as long as it lasted. Dude, she's a monster.
Yeah. When's her next fight? February
13th, UFC 258. I think she is the first fight of the night. She's going to be on ESPN Plus back in the States, I think.
Okay. Great. Yeah, great. You want to talk about that fight when it comes out?
I will definitely be talking about it, depending on the outcome of it, because the main event. The main event is Kamaru Usman fighting Gilbert Burns, and Usman, I told you about it, Josh. His 2 fights ago, he knocked out Colby Covington, who was a hardcore Trump fucker.
Yeah.
And
He
broke his jaw.
Did that for the culture.
He got escorted to the ring by like Candace Owens and Donald Trump. Yeah.
And then left with them to the hospital.
Yeah. And it's funny because I remember from that fight, there was pictures of them just kind of standing up looking sad. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because like the Trump children were at one of his fights.
Yeah.
My favorite photo that's come out this week is definitely Don Jr. and Eric crying as they board the helicopter.
Ah!
That was such a good one.
All right, so let's get out of here, people. All right, so whenever you listen to this, hope you having a great time. And we'll be back with you next week with a bunch of brand new topics, news, reviews, all that good stuff. And hey, to all you people out there listening to this, don't forget to always stay
tuned.